And hello and happy Tuesday on the Dam Sports Show on 1430 ESPN Beaver Dam, Daily Dodge TV, and the ESPN Wisconsin app. Happy Tuesday, everybody. We are not in the Daily Dodge TV studios for the first time and the first of many times. We're in our Gruber Law Office's mobile studios here at Mayville High School. We're up in the press box just probably about 100 yards off and up from the football field turned into a volleyball field. So I highly suggest you watch on Daily Dodge TV and get a great look at what the team over here has done under the leadership of head coach and coordinator for this event, Alan Capps, who we'll be hearing from in just a few minutes. He coordinated this. He had a great group of board members making sure this happened as well, but it's going to be an awesome display. Shooting for about 1,000 attendees. We're 2 hours out from the event, just under, and there's already people trickling into the venue. So I think that is a great sign of things to come today to highlight women's volleyball, girls volleyball, and the Mayville High School athletics effort here. This looks like a remarkable field, Wally.
This is unbelievable. I'm fired up right now. I mean, fired up a lot of times when we get out and get to cover high school sports, but this is a new kind of thing for us. It's first annual. We're hoping the first of many, but this is one of those unique situations right now. You look out behind us, it makes you think of all those like college, kind of like the NHL has done with that outdoor game.
The Winter Classic.
The Winter Classic. And then naturally a few years ago in college volleyball, we saw Nebraska host that match outside in Lincoln Stadium and have that massive crowd. And now we're trickling it down and getting it at a high school level. It's going to be a really unique opportunity for us as broadcasters, but even more importantly, it's going to be a really cool and unique opportunity for these athletes.
You know it's going to be a good attendance when you have people reserving their seats before 4 o'clock for a 5:30 start. There's 3 different games today that you need to keep an eye out for. This is a triangular, so 3 different teams, 3 different games. It's Waupun and Mayville. First serve is at 5:30. 6:30 will be Horicon and Waupun, and the Under the Lights Battle of the March matchup to wrap up today's festivities is going to be Horicon and Mayville at 7:45 p.m.
Strategic.
So we're super excited for that. Yeah, that's going to be the ultimate Battle of the Marsh, right? So 3 strong volleyball programs. Got a first-year head coach in here. We have a coordinator who has to play head coach in like 30 minutes after he gets everything going here in Alan Capps, who's wearing a lot of caps today. So I think it's just a testament to the effort that they've put together here. The court looks phenomenal, and the greatest part is 24 hours ago it wasn't here. They were just building this last night. It was about a 2-3 hour effort to put all the plywood down, the matting on top of it. It looks seamless. It looks amazing. So we'll be talking to Mr. Capps. Wally's going to be interviewing him from about 4:05 to 4:30ish, getting to know all the details you need to know. We'll give you the stats and everything going into the matchup, but he's going to talk about the collective effort that it took to get this underway. We'll talk about the 53-man roster for the Packers. That got finalized exactly an hour ago. Bo Melton made it. I want to talk about how impressive that is and how there's different guys that are in similar scenarios to him that just could not have done what he did and did not do what he did. And we'll wrap up today's edition of the Damn Sports Show, if we have time, with Phil in the Damn Blank. And I want to emphasize that because we want to make sure we get out, move our broadcast equipment around, and give you the best show possible for this Battle of the Marsh. We're calling it the first annual. I can already rule it a success because the weather is amazing. People are trickling in. You can feel the buzz, the excitement here in the venue. It's a beautiful football field to begin with. No shocker at all that they were able to pull something off just like this.
No, I mean, you talk about a perfect weather day. We've been knocking on wood for about a week. It isn't much better than this. We don't even really have that humidity right now where you start worried about how slick that court could be. I'm going to be talking with Coach how they prepared for that here briefly as well. But, yeah, huge testimonial here to this group because this is a lot of hands, a lot of work that had to go into this. Almost 10 months of preparation to get us to where we're at today. And I know that if this goes well and they want to do it again, work almost starts immediately on the other side of this. So hoping that this becomes a fabric of the community. This is going to be a great event and really fired up that we were asked to be out here today.
Yeah, let's make that clear. This court wasn't here 24 hours ago. They've been planning it for almost a calendar year. A lot of details have gone into this. They're obviously coinciding with the football schedules. They had to make sure the football team could go out there and get their practice in. They get off the field. You put this on, and this is going to be so fun. We do want to remind you early on in this show from our Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All mobile studios that if you are looking for a one-stop shop for all things sports cards, head on over to Real Sports Cards in Waupun. One of the 3 teams competing today is the Waupun Warriors, or you can check out their app whether you're into sports cards, Pokemon cards, or anything in between. Real Sports Cards has you covered. They've got live breaks streaming right on the app. You can grab those individual cards on the go, be a part of a group, and watch for your favorite players and teams as the packs get opened in real time. Go to the Apple or Google Play Store today. Look for the orange logo. Take that collection to the next level with Real Sports Cards. They are your local resource for sports cards, Pokemon cards, and more. And while we wait for Mr. Caps to come up here, he is probably doing about 5 billion different things right now, so we're not going to hold it against him. I'm sure he'll be up here soon. But what are you most looking forward to tonight with the event that we have going on here?
I'm looking forward to the nightcap. Because, again, we all grew up, whether you go on, like, those beach vacations, if you're hanging out at a school, whatever. We've played outdoor volleyball before. But actually doing it in a competitive environment, on a team, under the lights, that's something that's really hard to duplicate, hard to prepare for. I know that Coach Caps and the team was out here last night trying to get a lay of the land, trying to get a familiarity with the situation that they're going to be put into tonight. But it's still unique, and it's going to be a giant crowd, and it's going to be new. It's a new experience. I'm excited to see how people respond to it, and some familiar faces for even people in Beaver Dam, as we even have one of the co-op hockey players for Lil Mansueto, so a familiar face here on the Dam Sports Show as well. So I'm really excited for that nightcap and getting to see what all the girls can bring to the table tonight.
That was mine. I think I'm selfishly excited as someone who works in Beaver Dam, lives in Beaver Dam, and cheers for Beaver Dam teams. Lil Mansueto can do it both ways, right? She's the leading returner for kills for the Mayville Cardinals. I'm sure Coach Caps will be bringing her up when he gets up here in a moment, but she is a remarkable athlete. You're going to see a lot of remarkable athletes on the hardwood, the field-turned hardwood here at Mayville High School. So super excited for that to get underway. I think the primetime environment's going to be really fun, too. The stadium lights are going to kick in. All the attention's going to be on that final match and everything leading up to it. It's going to build to that third and final match, but I think it's going to be a great display of volleyball, and I'm super excited to dive into it.
We're going to also, when we get to the actual game, we're going to switch broadcasts. So if you're watching here, make sure you keep an eye. Go to Daily Dodge TV. We'll have a new one for the 3 matches all put together in one, but we're going to have that. It's going to be up closer. You're going to actually see a great view here. That's something else I want to point forward to. I love the idea of bringing that court closer to us. Sometimes when you watch these like Final Fours in basketball and they put them in these football facilities, it's really hard in some spots to see what's going on.
It's far away.
There's not a bad seat in the house tonight. They brought it. We're right on top of the action tonight. We're about as close, if not closer, to where we're at when we watch those Beaver Dam volleyball games that we cover throughout the year. So you're going to have a great view. Just make sure you keep an eye on Daily Dodge TV, and you're keeping an eye when we get that other broadcast started.
Fans are already trickling in here. So, again, first serve for match 1 of 3 will be at 5:30. And while we wait for Mr. Caps to come up here, I want to quickly touch on the Packers because I think the back end of the show will mostly be talking. We'll talk a little more about the roster and everything, but we'll get into fill in the damn blank and some other games on this show. Actually, we will table that. We've got Mr. Caps coming in right now.
We do, and I will have it slide right where I'm at, Coach. We'll put you right here.
Perfect.
We'll put that on for you. And I got to ask, first of all, as we're even getting going here, you look behind us. You see this. I know this has been nearly a year of effort, of time that's gone into it. I can only imagine the pride you feel when you look out right now. Already fans trickling in. What does this feel like just looking out and seeing this right now?
Last night when I saw it completed, we had practice. We took a picture, and the sunset was in the background. It was evidently photographers call it golden hour.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, I got a little emotional. I mean, like, this has been big. We've worked so hard. I hope the community and the fans love this.
I would be shocked if anybody didn't. Even walking in here about 30, 45 minutes ago, already a full staff here. Tons of work that's putting into this right now. What can you say about the rally that has gone into making an event like this happen?
The community has come through. Have you seen the time lapse? There's a video out there someplace on social media, and it's on our Facebook page. And we took a time lapse of the decking, all the plywood going on top, the felt, the sports court, the volleyball standards, the lining of the court, and then the girls walking out on it. And I'm just like, when I saw that, it's like, and you see all these people working the logo for the Cardinal on the field. At the beginning of the video, it existed in just white. And then you see they even went and painted that red, and then all of a sudden, we're about halfway through the video, it's a red Cardinal. And it was just like even little details like that we have a fully lined football field ready for the game on Friday. and then we have that beautiful court.
Well, and I know that we had spoken last week when you joined us on the Damn Sports Show too. Coach Hilbert and AD, Hilbert deserves a ton of credit because, again, this is something that there are a lot of football programs and coaches out there that wouldn't be as gung-ho about the idea of saying, please come out here, let's make a great event of this. I mean, what can you say about them? Is I think they're probably just finishing up practice up here on the hill behind us.
Yeah, well, isn't that cool that we saw the football guys up on the hill waiting for this? The neat thing is the football players actually were the ones who came and carried the stages out to the field. The football players were here. They just were so supportive of the girls. And I think that's kind of neat because our girls, this is Mayville. Everybody loves going and watching the guys play football on Friday night. And you know what? I think we're getting kind of to the point where people like coming watching us too.
Did you feel that hug back from the community when you do something like this? And I mean, even tonight, we can already feel that energy, that specialness. You had kind of led into a little bit before. You talked about practicing here last night. I'd love to dive into that because, again, this is a unique environment for these kids that have never played a competitive game on a court outdoors like this. How did practice go? Was there that like kind of acclimating to the wind, to the lights? How did that look?
Well, let's talk about Saturday first. We went to a scrimmage in Milton. We went 5-1. We only lost to Milton. They had a 6-3 middle. You know, we started off a little slow in that set, but I mean, like we looked good on Saturday. All of a sudden last night, first half of practice, it looked like we never touched a volleyball. I mean, like it was, guys. I'm thinking to myself, I'm the one who invited all the media, and they're going to witness us firsthand, and this is what we're playing. Then they turned into themselves, and that competing, that like going down. We've been talking about. We spend a lot of time on the mental aspect of the game, and one of the things we have cards that we use from a sports psychologist that we have a different one every day, and the one that has resonated with the girls is quiet the noise. And we talk about strategies on how to, in the big moment, I've shanked a couple balls, maybe I've hit a couple balls into the net. How do I quiet the noise? And so then what we just talked about in the weight room just now, tonight, I told them, some coaches say, hey, it's just another game. I'm not going to lie to you. I said, there's going to be 1,000 people in the stands. Let's embrace that, but now let's put the strategies that we learned to quiet the noise. And so the second half of practice last night, they turned into themselves. They played big girl volleyball, and it was fun to watch.
Well, I can even imagine quieting the noise in an environment like this, a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity like this, is hard. And I love that the way you built that up, because even when you were walking up here, well, we're setting up about half an hour ago, you walk out, and what's the last thing you say to us? But, guys, remember to have fun tonight.
Absolutely.
This is going to be one of those moments that these kids are going to remember for the rest of their life, being able to say, I played on the Mayville football field in the fall and put on an event like this. How are you able to quiet the noise? What is a little bit of that build-up look like?
Well, I think that what it comes down to is how many times have you – sports cliches are sports cliches because they work.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, like somebody who says trust your training, trust the process. They've been working so hard to get to this point. So therefore, they have something. We always talk about our goal is not to go win a match. Our goal is to play well, because I think a byproduct is by playing well, often you'll win the match. Sometimes you're going to run into teams that are, you know, if we went and played DSHA, no matter how good we play, they're probably going to get us because they're DSHA. You know, that's kind of what we want to talk about is let's control the things that we can control, and then trust your preparation to do the rest.
Well, we're talking with Mayville head coach of the volleyball team here, Alan Capps, before the Battle of the Marsh. We do have to step aside for a quick break, but when we come back, I'd love to dive into a little bit more about how this came to be, where the idea did. We had you on last week, but I really want to dive in because I think there's going to be a lot of people really eager to find out about this event. This hopefully first annual, first of many that could be coming up. But we were talking with Alan Capps. We will be stepping aside. We'll be right back on the Damn Sports Show on 1430 ESPN Beaver Dam and Daily Dodge TV. Back to the Dam Sports Show on 1430 ESPN Beaver Dam. We are in the Gruber Law Office mobile studio right now with head coach of the Mayville girls volleyball team, Alan Capps, ahead of the Battle of the Marsh tonight. And, Coach, I've been kind of set this up at the beginning is this is a unique and special opportunity for these kids, but it's a special opportunity for you, for the organizers, everybody that's been a part of this. And you were telling me during the break, you actually have family coming in all over to watch this event tonight.
Absolutely. My mom and dad and my brother came in from the San Francisco Bay Area. They flew in. Actually, they drove. She got a new car. She wanted to go. They went and saw Yellowstone and some other Mount Rushmore. It's on her bucket list. And so my brother came out. My aunt from Sacramento flew in. My brother-in-law and sister-in-law drove in from Michigan. And so it's kind of a big deal. I've been coaching a long time. I was telling you I've had the opportunity to coach in China, Australia, Italy, and Brazil. And this ranks right up with one of the bigger moments of my coaching career. So it's just so exciting because, I mean, like, I don't know that, well, I've seen pictures, but I've never, with my own eyes, seen a volleyball court set up on, the contrast between the court and the grass. I mean, like, it's just gorgeous. And I don't think that the weather could have been nicer.
No, sports are beautiful, especially when things like this come to fruition. And, I mean, I grew up in Pittsburgh. I bounced around to Ohio. I was in Wisconsin. I've never heard of something like this happening at the high school level. And that takes so much time and effort. We've mentioned all the hands that have volunteered time to make this possible. But this idea came about almost a year ago. For people that aren't familiar about how this came to be, can you tell us a little bit about where this idea was born and how we actually got here 10 to 11 months later?
Well, about 2 years ago, the University of Nebraska had a volleyball match that they built in their football stadium, and it had 96,000 people, set the all-time record for a volleyball spectator sport. So I thought that was cool. I never thought about doing it until last year. We see that I was kind of scrolling through my Facebook, and I saw that a school out of Iowa did it. And that just kind of like then started kind of like maybe percolating a little bit. A couple days later, I was just like started kind of, hey, has anybody else done it? I saw a school in New Jersey did it. And so then that's when I decided, well, why not us? So I'm actually part of a group on Facebook called Volleyball Trainers and Coaches. And so I posted our time lapse yesterday. I've heard today, I've gotten so many responses. Like typically if I do a post, I mean, like I see all these people, social media, their likes and stuff. Man, if I get 2 likes, I'm ecstatic.
You and me both.
Like that's about my socials. They're all members of our youth program.
Oh, that's special.
And so, and then they're going to make a little tunnel. We'll see. Now, I'm curious to see how this, I'll be over there on the bench just waiting to see how this works out. But I want to see how this tunnel of youth works out because we know what it's supposed to be, but hopefully it'll be fun.
Being a part of the first match tonight, is that almost exciting to rip the Band-Aid of nerves almost off right away, get that first action, then be able to take a little bit of a breather before you do go into the nightcap under the lights here at Mayville Football Stadium?
Well, I'm a little bit nervous because what we found out is that the time during the first match was much more difficult to practice in.
Really?
Than
with the sunlight?
Because the sunlight was kind of going into that bad spot. So then we had to decide which would we rather start with, because since we're the home team, we get to pick our side. And do we want to? And we're going to be alternating sides on sets. And do we want the setters looking into the sun, or do we want the hitters looking into the sun? And so it was one of those things that we're still not 100% sure how we're going to do that. So
it's hard to blame you. This is, again, it's a novel first-time experience for a lot of us. One thing that I have been fixated on for the last week since we had you on the Damn Sports Show, you mentioned a golden goose idea. Is there any kind of trophy or something at this point, or is that going to be for the second annual?
I think that's going to be the second annual, but I still think that everybody I tell about the goose, I think that's going to – I mean, we've got to get a goose.
It's got to be a goose.
So, I mean, like that, I want about a goose in flight. I don't have the logo with me, but on all the shirts, on the Battle of the Marsh logo, there's a goose in flight, and I think we need that goose in flight.
Aiden, can you do me a favor and jump into my backpack when you get a shot, and I will actually pull out. I bought a shirt earlier.
Did you really?
You had to. Wade and I both got one, and Wade is bummed out. He's actually right now not bummed out to be there, but he's watching his daughter's volleyball match,
Yes,
and he
yes.
can't be here today. So for you guys watching at home, you still have the opportunity. Come on out. They're only $18 a shirt, and great quality too. And I love the colors popping. We got the goose to fly in there.
The goose, and then the neat thing is, did you notice that the Horicon, they have an orange shirt for their colors, and Waupun has a yellow shirt for their colors. So by getting this, you do realize you are now Team Mayville.
Well, trust me, I noticed that right away, but I'm like, I have to support the home side here.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so you understand it, Coach. I tell you what, though, I've been throwing the idea around of me catching a live goose and painting it gold. So if I happen to do that tonight, I'll let you know.
Hey, somebody said taxidermy.
Taxidermy, just give me a goose.
Absolutely. I mean, like, we'll even make sure that the eyes are a little off center, just kind of like make it some kind of fun thing.
That would be awesome. Well, Coach, this is going to be awesome. I really want to thank you for jumping up here and talking with me a little bit. We got to release you back. You get to be a coach now.
Absolutely. It is now time for me to go do my job.
Hey.
So I love hanging out with you guys. You guys clearly love what you're doing, and we just appreciate what you guys do for youth sports and sports in Dodge County total.
Well, Coach Caps, we appreciate it. Good luck tonight. Fired up to watch, and we're going to be getting started here in just under about an hour here. We'll be coming live for you. But, Coach Caps, I know you got a job to do, so we'll let you go have at it.
Sounds good. Thanks so much, guys.
Absolutely. And we're going to step aside now for a quick break. Welcome back, Corey Sparks, onto the set. We're out here at the Gruber Law Office's mobile broadcast studio at Mayville Football Field for the Battle of the Marsh. This is the Dam Sports Show on 1430 ESPN Beaver Dam and Daily Dodge TV.
And we welcome you back to the Dam Sports Show on 1430 ESPN Beaver Dam, Daily Dodge TV, and the ESPN Wisconsin apps. Thank you so much to Alan Capps for lending 25 minutes out of a very busy, and I emphasize extremely busy day as the main coordinator for this entire event. It is the first ever and hopefully annual edition of the Battle of the Marsh. So if you hang around on Daily Dodge TV and flip over to a different live stream after the Dam Sports Show concludes at 5, we'll get going about 5:20, 5:25-ish for our quick pregame show ahead of the triangular between Waupun, Horicon, and, of course, the hosting Mayville Cardinals, led out there by Alan Capps, who's going to begin and end the night with matches 1 and 3. So we'll talk more about that to come, but did tease this at the beginning of the show, and it is important to note. Today was the day that the Packers and everybody else around the NFL at 3 p.m. Central, 4 p.m. Eastern, so an hour and a half ago, had to make their 53-man roster cuts. A lot of those guys that you thought, oh, he had a good preseason game. He looked pretty good against the Fours. Likely gone, right? Going to waivers. Hopefully they clear waivers. But, there was competition out there, and there were certain players I think a lot of people expected to make the 53-man at the beginning. Christian Welch came to mind. I thought, especially with Isaiah Simmons getting released, that would have freed up some room for him. And then there were certain players where you thought, that's a cool story, but it's a long shot. And Wally, as we kind of just file through it, again, it's only been out for about an hour, hour and a half. Any shocks, cool stories, things that took you by surprise or gave you a main takeaway going into the regular season opener, which is a little over a week and a half from now, Packers and Lions at Lambeau?
Maybe a little less of a surprise, but a couple big names are no longer going to be in green and gold, and that being Isaiah Simmons. That was a big one. We heard that he's expected not to be a part of this 53-man, and then Mecole Hardman is not going to be a part of it. I know that they had been looking at him possibly as a returner in a special role, and depending with all these injuries at wide receiver, you kind of were curious if he might actually find a way into that 53-man. Instead, Corey, a name that you and I have talked a lot about with Jason Wilde, with Gabe Neitzel, with Hunter Vaughn, is Bo Melton. And Bo Melton found a way to keep himself on this team. Part of that could be those wide receiver injuries, because he could be almost doing a little bit of double duty if we are an injury or two further away here as we look to Detroit here in about a week and a half. But for me, Bo Melton making the team is one of the cooler stories of this offseason. That about 2 months ago, I didn't think there was a snowball's chance in hell he would.
Yeah, I didn't think he would either. I think that's an amazing story for this Packers team. It's a gradual process, right? The fact that we got the announcement today that Bo Melton, as a cornerback, did make the 53-man roster didn't shock me. What shocked me was the reports 2-3 weeks ago that he was making headway, and it looked like he was more than just a feel-good story. I was like, really? The guy who just learned corner a couple of months ago looks sharper than other guys whose main position since they were like 5 years old playing Pee-wee has been corner? Really? Really? And I think it's super impressive. And we brought up Mecole Hardman. He's a 7-year NFL veteran, right? Here's your case study. He started his career out with 3 straight 500-yard seasons at the wide receiver position, and yet he didn't make the 53-man at the wide receiver position, the position he's been playing through college, sprinkled into special teams units as well with the Packers. His position that he has been playing at, and he's played at a high level in the past, he didn't make the 53-man. But Bo Melton, and this isn't an indictment on Mecole Hardman, it's just a testament to how impressive Bo Melton's story is, switched to corner a couple months ago and made an NFL roster. Maybe, right, the cornerback position's depleted, the wide receiver position is bruised up at the moment, and they're going to need help in 2 dimensions of his game. That could turn into a really cool story, but it already is a remarkable story that he made the 53-man on a position that he did not play, 3-4 months ago. He didn't switch from slot to outside on the receiver position, or he didn't go to the backfield and play running back. He went to the other side of the football and made an NFL roster. It's extremely impressive.
And if you even would take it a step farther, you'd mention Mecole Hardman not making the 53. Corey Ballantyne didn't make the 53 either.
Yeah.
And that's another one of these massive shocks that I, at least about 2 weeks ago, didn't even think he was a cut contender, and now not going to be on the team. And that also means Micah Robinson is going to have a very good chance that he's going to be staying on that 53 long-term as well. I also think it's interesting, some of those cuts, these are guys that you're going to see be approached to come back on the practice squad. One of those guys being Taylor Elgersma, who got an extended look this offseason. Sean Clifford was cut, so you have to wonder, of those two, if there is going to be somebody coming back on the practice squad, who will that be? Because last year, Jordan Love, we've seen the last few years, he has had a difficult time staying on the field, and when that happens, a guy like Elgersma or Clifford could be one snap away from giving you valuable reps. So I'm interested to see who ends up getting that practice squad quarterbacking job My money's at least as of right now on Taylor Elgersma, the CFL guy.
That would be fun. I'm just looking down. Omar Brown had a fun story a couple of weeks ago. He's going to injured reserve. Marshawn Lloyd, man, like the guy needs to catch a break. He's also on injured reserve right now. Injured reserve, designated to return. The 3 running backs to make the active 53-man roster are Josh Jacobs, Emmanuel Wilson, and Chris Brooks in that order. For the initial depth chart, you could still fledge a lot of things out before opening week. Jordan Love and Malik Willis make it at quarterback. Clifford and Elgersma, as Wally just brought up, go and get released, clear waivers, find out in a little bit here who the Packers want to bring back between those two. The CFL guy would be a lot of fun. Mecole Hardman released. Isaiah Simmons. I don't want to accuse the Packers of having I can fix him syndrome, but a lot of people looked at him and went, this is a former first-round pick. He's been forgettable the last couple of years. He's been bouncing around for a reason. He was fighting for a job in general for a reason. Typically, first-round picks, the expectation is they have a lockdown starter position. But I think a lot of people thought we bring him into Lambeau, the mecca of football. We're going to fix him. And right now, he's just got some stuff to figure out. Maybe they bring him back, too. Maybe he's one of those guys, hangs out on the practice squad. You get depleted in a certain level of the defense. That was his big selling point out of college, is he's so versatile. That he comes back week 7, week 8. But as of right now, he's not good enough to make the Packers' 53-man roster, for better or worse.
I feel like Regina George from Mean Girls right now because I want to look at these NFL teams and say, Gretchen, let's stop trying to make fetch work.
Yeah.
Isaiah Simmons isn't that first-round pick, at least the talent at this stage that what we thought he was going to be. He's had a difficult time finding that position that he's going to be home at. Yes, there's that hope that maybe he could be a special team guy and come in and be at that level. What really wasn't good enough in this offseason, now you go on and you root for him that he can figure it out somewhere else, but it didn't make sense. I respect the Packers' decision to realize, hey, just because this is a big name, someone that the average fan might be like, hey, I do remember that guy going top 10. If he's not going to be good enough to be on the field, then you can't have him waste a roster spot when there were plenty of guys, maybe not the sexiest names, that did have a heck of a training camp, had a great preseason.
And twos, that's a better sign than someone who's primarily playing with the 3s, the 4s, the 5s, the bottom of the depth chart, as you'd have it. But I think that's a super cool story, and I don't know, part of you might want him to just exclusively play at corner because that means the wide receiver position's in a better spot health-wise. Part of you, as a fan who's watching from afar maybe, might go, hey, it'd be kind of cool to have our own little Travis Hunter here at Lambeau Field for half the year. So do with that what you will. But I think it's cool that he made the 53-man at corner, a position that he was not playing, did not expect to play even a few months ago. Before we wrap up this third segment, and then before we go into fill in the damn blank, get into the first ever Battle of the Marsh, hosted by Mayville High School. People are trickling in now. I'm putting that counter over 50. Probably with the people walking around the concourse, we're closer to 75, 100, and we're still nearly an hour out from first serve. So super excited for that. I want to quickly talk Badgers. We are all of a sudden 2 days away from the Wisconsin Badgers football team's home opener against Miami of Ohio. They're going to have the LED light display, the bracelet stuff going on. A lot of hype behind a new quarterback for the Badgers, Billy Edwards Jr., Luke Fickell, year 3. A lot of people want to throw the flags at him and say, oh, you're done if it doesn't go well this year, despite the fact they have the hardest schedule in college football, some might be arguing. But I want to quickly go over some audio that we got from Wildy and Tausch, weekdays from 9 a.m. until noon, across ESPN Wisconsin, specifically here on ESPN Beaver Dam. Mark Tauscher, former Badger, former Packer Hall of Famer, went over how much weight this Week 1 matchup with a non-conference opponent, and a strong one at that, out of the MAC in Miami of Ohio, holds. How much weight does this matchup hold?
I do think getting off to a fast start is really important this year. We've seen this the last couple of years, the first couple of years of Luke's tenure, and I don't think we've seen the throttling that we hoped that we would see in these early games. And then that narrative, whether or not you like it or not, the narrative is negative. And you want to have some positive mojo, especially knowing what's looming in a couple weeks. I think it's really important for this Badgers team to get off to a fast start and to look a certain way in doing it.
So great point by Mark Tauscher. Again, you can hear him live with our great friend Jason Wilde, the 3-time Wisconsin Sports Writer of the Year and the Packers Hall of Fame offensive lineman, a great dynamic duo. You can hear them weekdays from 9 to noon across ESPN Wisconsin and on the ESPN Wisconsin app and, of course, ESPN Beaver Dam. So I just finished my venture of rewatching the 2024 Badgers football season, and the first half a lot more fun than the back half. If you don't remember, they started the season 5-2. They were in a spot 5 weeks in a row where it was, hey, just win this one and you're in the bowl game again. You regain bowl eligibility coming off a 7-5 season where Tanner Mordecai was in and out. We kind of got to know who this Braden Locke guy would be. We really got to know who that Braden Locke guy was last year, for better, and then for very much worse, the back end of the season. Crucial turnover after crucial turnover. He's in Arizona now. He's a gunslinger. He was willing to take chances. It's just he got bit in the butt. Still has plenty of college football ahead of him, though. But, yeah.
No, I was going to say, I mean, it just is more important than ever. We see what happens in the NFL with the shortened preseason where these guys go out there, and then you actually get into the regular season, there's a little bit of rust. I don't want to say that this is a preseason game, but the way the Wisconsin Badgers should be, it should be a preseason type game.
Yeah, it needs to come off as that. I'm seeing they're around like 17.5, 17-point favorites, so they're supposed to win by 2.5 scores. I already can see people playing the comparison game. Oh, they only beat Miami of Ohio by 14, and they beat Western Michigan and South Dakota last year, an FCS school, by 2 scores. This is horrible. Miami of Ohio is very good. They were runners-up in the MAC, but it is the MAC. It's not a Group of 4 conference. It's not the Big Ten. It's not the SEC. It's not the Big 12. They don't have the strength of schedule. Nobody has the strength of schedule, arguably, that the Badgers have this year. So I think the idea of having your physicality in there, obviously you have Tressel. You're getting Jeff Grimes in there, the RVO, and it doesn't have to reflect it on the scoreboard necessarily, but I think fans want to watch that football game tomorrow night that kicks off at 8 and go, we got this. There's no doubt. We got this. It's put away by the third, fourth quarter. I don't care that we're up 10 right now. These are long, drawn-out, exhausting 7-8-minute possessions. There is no way on earth, barring a cataclysmic turnover, which we're too disciplined to make at this point, those are the thoughts that should be going through your head, that this happens. There's no way they upset us. That's the feeling we should have.
They have to flex their muscles. It's got to be early and often. It's got to be that physicality that really was lacking last year with that Phil Longo offense that was a little bit of that air raid that never really clicked in Wisconsin. We want to get back and seize that 25, 30 rush attempts where you're throwing up the 6-7 yards per carry against a team in the MAC that, yes, they were competitive. They had a shot to win that MAC last year. With the NIL era and the way turnover is in college football, especially at that level outside of the Power 4 conferences, go flex the muscles. Go out there, make it so this is never in doubt. This shouldn't be the game that you're in the third quarter and you're looking and it's 13-7 and you're like, wait a minute, we're one play away from the Red Hawks taking a lead. That's what can happen. This has got to be one of those games that it's 17-3 at half. That there's just not really that ever belief that they are going to be able to muster enough offense or get the stops, especially on the ground, to be competitive against the Wisconsin Badger team at Camp Randall.
And I don't want to get into players to watch or anything like that. We'll do that as we get closer to the game, which starts at 8 p.m. against Miami of Ohio on Thursday. But the depth chart, the 2 deep at least, came out yesterday for the Badgers, and something that stuck out to me was it wasn't Cade Giacomelli who got a decent amount of carries in the first half of the season and was a chunk player. Like, he would get 7-8 yards a carry on routine. It wasn't Darion Dupree who got the starting running back spot. It was redshirt freshman Dylan Jones, who played 3 games last year. Pablo Iglesias from our ESPN Madison team has visited the Damn Sports Show before as a co-host, and he was telling me he was at camp in Platteville, on the campus UW Platteville, and it wasn't Giacomelli, it wasn't Darion Dupree. It was Dylan Jones, the redshirt freshman, who was breaking free for explosive play after explosive play. The way this Jeff Grimes offense is going to work is the more threatening that run game gets, you can get into play action, hit people over the top of the head. It's not the air raid, but there's more of an emphasis on using the run to set up the pass. And Dylan Jones is the starting running back going into the first week. That's exciting because I know NIL, transfer portal, gets scary making a claim you can hold on to a guy for a long period of time, but he has the most college football ahead of him.
It really is. I love that you use that word because, first of all, Dylan Jones is a guy that we heard Mark Tauscher bring up on KBN earlier today as well. So the fact that you also are hearing these things, now Mark Tauscher, he's out there willing to put his name to it, that he thinks Dylan Jones is going to have a big year, and he thinks that the schematic fit of this new offense is what's going to really elevate his game a little bit this year. We talk about that physicality. If he is able to go out there, those one cuts, you run a little bit of zone, when you need that power, when you need him to go right up the A-gap, you know where he's going to go with the full head of steam. It sounds like he's going to be one of those Badger running backs of old, somebody that very early in his career can have you excited and say, wait a minute, we might have something here for the next couple of years. So Dylan Jones is going to be somebody I'm itching for You're doing the post game on Thursday, are you not?
Yes, yep. So the Wisconsin College Game Day Tour starts on Thursday. There's a pregame show with Adam Mertz, Jesse Nelson, and Brad Nortman, whose voice sounds very different, by the way. Former Badgers punter. He sounds amazing. He is back from his procedure. The game will happen. Matt LePay and Mark Tauscher will have the call for you. And then our post-game show is myself and ESPN Madison's Riley Yauk. We will have you the 2 hours following. You're going to be able to call into the Carbless Talk and text line and make all the claims you want. Do you think we need to can the team? Do you think the team is all of a sudden a Big Ten title contender? I don't care how much you overreact. Just, make sure you stop in, contribute to that conversation. That is going to be a great atmosphere, and I hope it comes after a W.
It's going to come after a W. Putting that down there right now. I'm not scared. I'm not worried. And I'm going to be excited to listen to that tandem, too. Riley, we've had him also as a Damn Sports Show co-host. So listen to these two talk shop every Thursday, Friday, Saturday, whenever the Badgers play. I'm really itching for that. So good luck, Corey. I know I'll be listening on the way back from that, Marshall football game we'll be covering against Lake Mills on Thursday night as well.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. Maybe we'll do some bowl claims tomorrow. I feel like that'd be a fun one. I know Ashley Dobrzinski, our new teammate, we've been working on the TikTok, just got over 100 followers. Make sure you follow us at ESPN Beaver Dam on TikTok and all of our social medias. ESPN Beaver Dam on Facebook, ESPN BD on Twitter, X, everything. But a little teaser for tomorrow, possibly going into Thursdays, when we'll most likely release the video. Bold predictions for this team in 2025. I feel like I've seen everything on articles from this football program is incapable of winning more than 3 games, harsh, to this team's going 8-4, 9-3. Whoa, that'd be pretty cool, right? So bold predictions in terms of which players you think are going to stick out. Keep an eye out for that. One more person I just want to focus on. I know everyone's like, oh, we lost Will Pauling to Notre Dame. He was supposed to be the wide receiver of the future. Vinny Anthony, I kept watching these games back from last year, was the leading receiver. I don't know much about what Billy Edwards Jr. is going to do in this offense, but I know he had a better year last year at Maryland than our starting quarterback did because Tyler Van Dyke played 3 games and got hurt. And that was the second year in a row we had a starting quarterback who couldn't get through. But the QB room in general is a lot deeper. You have Danny O'Neal, you have Carter Smith, who looks really good as a true freshman. I'm just super excited. Even if things hit the fan, I think this team has better backup plans in place than the Badgers teams of years past.
This year, it's got the backup plans there, and excitingly enough for people that were watching, I think ESPN2 on Saturday afternoon this last week, you actually are going to see a future Wisconsin Badger quarterback playing with, Mater out there in, L.A. in California as they boat race St. Thomas Aquinas out of Florida.
Yeah, we got a West Coast guy.
Yeah, which got to feel pretty good when you get to watch that. Even if this year you get your 6-7 wins, there's reinforcements coming. So stay along the Badgers bandwagon with us all year long.
Shocker, we went over, and we're going to have a short last segment, and then we will get into the Battle of the Marsh here at Mayville High School, at the Mayville High School football field. They've got a great setup for us. We're super appreciative of it. It is Tuesday on the Damn Sports Show, meaning we wrap up today's show with Fill in the Damn Blank from your Gruber Law Office's mobile studios. This is the Damn Sports Show on 1430 ESPN Beaver Dam and Daily Dodge TV. And we welcome you back to the Damn Sports Show. Got about 3 minutes left in this one. We are in our Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All mobile studios, and we are in the press box at the Mayville High School football field turned volleyball court for the first ever, and hopefully first of many, Battle of the Marshes. It's going to be Waupun and Mayville, Horicon and Waupun, and then Horicon and Mayville rounding out tonight's triangular showcase for girls volleyball. And I mean, we're over 100 now. We got people trickling in. We're a little over half an hour out from first serve between the Warriors and the Cardinals. The court looks spectacular as we're streaming to you live here on the Daily Dodge TV YouTube channel on 1430 ESPN Beaver Dam and the ESPN Wisconsin app. This is the last segment of the Damn Sports Show on a Tuesday, meaning it's time for Fill in the Damn Blank, and we're going to keep this thematic. The closest comp I have to the Battle of the Marsh is blank.
The Carrier Classic. About 12, 13 years ago, Michigan State and UNC were playing basketball in an aircraft carrier. Weather got that a little tricky, a lot of condensation on the court. We're going to avoid that. We got really lucky with the weather, but it's the same kind of feel to me. You go outdoor, play on a place that is very uncommon to the sport. That's, for me, Carrier Classic.
I'm going to go Winter Classic. I think you alluded to it in the first segment today. Wrigley Field likes to house some NHL games from time to time. They've been doing college hockey lately as well. But anytime you can take a sport that's usually indoors, bring it outdoors, and you get the weather like this to complement it, it's a pretty cool feeling. We will move on to what we were just talking about. The segment before this, the Wisconsin Badgers football team will finish blank through 12 games this season before their bowl game, which they will be making.
They will be making it because they're winning 8 regular season games this year. I have a bet out there with my old man, and I'm going to lean in. I'm got the Badger fever this year. You're going to see a bit of more of that physicality. So give me 8 wins. They're finding that statement win this year, Corey Sparks.
I'm wondering who that is going to be, right? Because you expect Middle Tennessee, Miami, Ohio, Maryland. Washington's going to be interesting. You need them to beat like Michigan or an Indiana or an Illinois or an Ohio State.
I knew that was coming. I was waiting to set up.
That's 8. That's 8.
It is.
Or Iowa. Minnesota. Get the X back. Definitely get the X back. I'm going to go 7-5, 8-4. I think cutting down possessions for your opponent, not allowing them to score 41 like Iowa did on them last year, is going to go a long way. I'm a firm believer the offense is going to make great strides. Grimes is going to do some awesome stuff. Tressel's got a few tricks up his sleeve. He's got 9 of them who are over 300 pounds on the defensive line as opposed to the 3 he had at his arsenal last year. We'll wrap it up with this. One Green Bay Packers player who is not getting enough dialogue right now is blank.
I'm not saying it's because it's a good thing, but it's Rashawn Gary. The back 7 bailed out a lot of names last year. Rashawn Gary, Lucas Van Ness, those are 2 guys that people need to see that jump out of this year if you expect the Packers to take the next step. So for me, my eyes are on that front 4 when we get into the regular season.
I'm going to go Carrington Valentine and stay on the defensive side of the ball. I feel like early on in camp, even after the draft, when people realized the Packers weren't really building up that secondary through draft capital, talked about him a bit like, okay, Carrington, from a day 3 pick, you're about to be an everyday starter, and essentially you're taking over for Jair Alexander. And then throughout the preseason, we just didn't hear much. Week 1's going to come around, and Carrington's going to play a big role. I think he's going to be super productive. And bold take right now, I think he ends up being a Pro Bowler. I hope he's a Pro Bowler because that would help this secondary, Jeff Hafley, a ton. I trust in Jeff Hafley. He made a world of a difference for this defense compared to the 2023 season with Joe Barry. I think he turns, and Carrington's work ethic turns him into a Pro Bowler in 25.
Well, let's hope Carrington's Pro Bowl is a little different than Rashawn Gary's.
Yeah, we don't need the asterisk next to it, right?
Yeah.
We will wrap up the Damn Sports Show here. Hang around, jump over to the other live stream, and wait in the lobby for about 20-25 minutes. We'll get the Battle of the Marsh going. Your first match of 3, Waupun, Mayville. Thank you so much for joining the Damn Sports Show on Daily Dodge TV, 1430 ESPN Beaver Dam, and the ESPN Wisconsin app.